is going on, guys? It's the Anime Hero, but we're coming at something different today other than anime. We're going to be looking at video games, particularly Final Fantasy 15. Wait a minute. That's not right. Final Fantasy 15. God, fuck. Here. Final Fantasy 15. Now, the game, let's start from the beginning here. Let's do like an overview of what the contents of the game are before I get into my thoughts about it. So, the game advertises itself as a Final Fantasy for newcomers and Final Fantasy fans alike. There we go. Sorry, I didn't realize the glare from my lighting was going to be a problem. So it advertises itself as a Final Fantasy game for fans and newcomers alike, which I honestly can say is true. The story begins with the lead character, Noctis Lucis Kaim Lucis? Noctis. He's the main character, and he travels with his ragtag group of brothers in arms. We have Prompto, Ignis, and Gladio. And basically the game is them going around. Noctis is engaged to be wed to a princess. No, an oracle. She's called the Oracle. But then this country declares war on Noctis's country because he's a prince of a country. And then he has to spend the rest of the game trying to get back his love interest. Story-wise, the game is kind of all over the place, honestly speaking. But that's okay. At least, I think they did it okay. Normally, if a game was as all over the place as Final Fantasy 15 was, it would be like a really bad story. But they don't focus on the story a lot. When you get into the gameplay segments, it's only really you, Ignis, Prompto, and Gladio. So while they do talk about the story, it's because you're more looking at their interactions. The story isn't the main focus. This is more of a character-driven story rather than a story-driven story. See Incredibles 2, for example. Story structure-wise, both of them are very weak. They are much weaker than other counterparts in their franchise. But it's not about the story, it's about watching the characters in the setting. And for that, the game excels. This game, amazing characters. Noctis, albeit, is a bit more bland, but he does have some unique traits about him that make him really interesting. You know, his love for fishing. Fuck the fishing minigame. Maybe like, I had something. I really did. Noctis is a bit more interesting than other protagonists have been, but there have been more interesting protagonists too. So, you know, you gotta weigh out what's going on there. Let's get into the party members though, because party members I think is where this game really shines. All right. So first we got the big brute Gladius. Now Gladius, or Gladio is what they call it. Gladiolus is his name, and you call him Gladio in the game. He is sort of the bronze. His weapon is a two-handed broadsword that obviously varies depending on what sword you have equipped to him. Now, he is very much the meathead of the group, and it looks like he's the oldest out of all of them, which is interesting to say the least. But he really is the one that is there to keep them in order. He's the one who, like, makes sure everybody does what they are told. And differently to Ignis. Now, Ignis is kind of the same way, but it's the fact that Gladio has the carefree side that Ignis doesn't have. Gladio makes sure you stay on course and have the moral compass. If he does something he thinks is immoral or not right, he'll speak up about it. Ignis, on the other hand, who uses daggers, he's much more of a tactician, is more of the planning type. He's like, alright, we have a schedule, we have to meet at this time, we have to do this, come on, let's go. That's what I mean by Ignis keeps them in track. He keeps them on a schedule. Gladio keeps them moral. Gladio's like the heart of the group. Gladio is the heart of the group. Ignis is the brains. And Prompto is the spirit. He is the one who easily gets is so much fun to have around. He is the most funny of all the cast members, and easily one of my favorites. Prompto and Noctis are two of my favorite characters. Ignis gets there. Gladio's my least favorite out of all of them, but I still like him a lot more than the other characters. Villains. Ooh. Like I said, the story's kind of all over the place. And I don't want to talk about the villain too much because it does kind of go tread into spoiler territory. I know I really didn't care about spoilers for a long time because I was like, well, if you're watching a review, then obviously you're, you are playing the game or you've beaten the game or whatever. But, just in case, I won't tread into spoiler territories. I'll start doing that. But the villain honestly is a bit weak, at least in the version I played. From what I know, that there are free patches that they have for the game that kind of go more in depth with the villain, but I didn't have that. I don't have the internet to get those updates, so I played the raw game as it released. Now, again, story-wise, not good. Character-wise, great. You also have people like Sid making a comeback, much older, and he has a granddaughter now, Sydney. Kind of makes you wonder what his child's name was, but we're not going to talk about that. There aren't very many memorable characters outside of the main group. Sydney, and maybe Gladio's sister, Iris. Only because she has, like, a crush on Noctis. Gameplay-wise, okay, so this game broke the tradition of, let's grab this one. Okay, this is 10-2, so upside down, 10. So this game has different gameplay than this one, where this one and many other Final Fantasies have turn-based style gameplay. Final Fantasy 15 was the first one to go with a more, in real-time gameplay style. And there are pros and cons to it. The pro is, oh my god, is it so much fun to play this game. When you play the other Final Fantasy games, playing through the main story, you're learning about the story, you're having fun with that. But then after you beat the story, you're kind of just like, I can 100% the game, but it starts to feel monotonous. That quick cut to a turn-based combat, and then after you kill them, goes back to walking. You walk, get hit again. There's that same, you can't really, you can speed through it when you get to the level where you're just like level 50 versus the level 10. The match is so quick, but there's still the loading time to get into the match and the loading time to get out of it. Final Fantasy 15 has the in-real combat where, firstly, you don't have to fight anything. You can always run. Well, I guess you can in that too, but there are no like random enemies that kind of have like tall grass in Pokemon. In order to get some places, you have to walk through tall grass, and you're gonna get an enemy. That's kind of how it is in older Final Fantasy games. It's not like that here. If you really don't want to fight anybody, there are paths to get where you want to go where you don't have to fight anybody. And I'm hyping all this up, and it sounds really good, but here's the strong but. It's very obvious this is going to be the worst of the combat. Because the game is kind of really buggy a lot. And I'm probably sure some of the patches does fix it, but again, I didn't have the patches playing my game. So I don't know about that. But I know my copy was really, really buggy. Especially if you're fighting somewhere that's heavy with greenage, then camera's gonna get caught on a bush or something, and then you just have to press B in this case because I'm playing on Xbox. You gotta press the attack button and hope to God you hit something. Hope to God that you hit something, or press on X and then just hope that you didn't dodge everything. Warp strike, but you can't see. You're playing blind at that point. And what I mean by saying this is the worst of it is, if they keep this in real-time combat for Final Fantasy 16 and onwards, then I can imagine they're going to start being able to cut down on all of the glitches and all the bad stuff before they get a real polished version. So this isn't polished. This is their first time trying a in real time fight, and so it is going to be, if they keep doing it, it's going to be the worst of their in real times because this was their first attempt. That doesn't make the game bad. It just, you can tell in this, like, down the line when people look back at this game, they're going to be like, this is the worst of their in real time combat. And it's really going to. But at the end of the day, wrapping this up, it is so much fun to play. If you have an Xbox One, I highly recommend this game. Story-wise, I give it like a C. The story could have been better, but for enjoyment-wise, that gives it an A. So we're giving it a final rating of about a B-. A really good game. I'd say it's worth anybody. If you're new to Final Fantasy, this is a good game to start with. If you're a veteran of Final Fantasy, this is a good game to look into. I don't know, maybe you're not too open to the idea of changing the combat. But I can honestly say that as somebody who's played Final Fantasy, you see that I do have other titles. There we go. I do have other titles of the franchise. I played most of the franchise. I can honestly say that this game is worth your time. So I give it a B-. Go pick it up at your nearest GameStop. The base game is only $20. If you're interested, they do have a Regal edition that does have the 3 DLCs, episodes Ignis, Prompto, and Gladio. I might review them at some point in the future. But that wraps it up for this video, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll get to you all next week with a new video. This should be coming out on a Monday, so check next Monday. Should have a new video up. As always, see you around.